Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel in the first place. Today we have a Shigaraki X listener. It's Touch by Toru Love on AO3. The link will be in the description. Go give them likes, kudos, and all of those things, and let's go ahead and get into it. Tomura Shigaraki was independent, individualistic, yet he was a leader, one with purpose and ambition, and an entire group behind him to follow his orders. He was calculated, intelligent. So why is it that he had a weakness? A stupid person who spent entirely too much effort in trying to touch him. Shigaraki was not one to like human contact. In fact, he detested it unless he was the one initiating said contact, savoring the feeling of holding someone's life in his palm. He never truly understood the aspect of human nature, the need to be touched and want to be hugged. You were quite the opposite. You would go out of your way to hug the League members after missions, check over everyone, including Shigaraki, for injuries. You would make meals when you noticed everyone hasn't eaten. You would put in an effort to sit close to Shigaraki, put a hand on his thigh or an arm around his shoulder. He claimed to hate it, but allowed you to do it anyways. It was your last day with the League, your final hours with them, with him. It was the arrangement. Use your powers, help them by staying out of the line of action, and you can leave once there is no more use for you anymore. Your quirk was one that was used through distance, and they needed someone on the inside that could watch the battlefield from afar. Then they found you. As you were telling everyone goodbye, Shigaraki felt a pit in his stomach that he had never felt before. You hadn't even looked at him that morning. The first day that you touched Tomura Shigaraki was not too long after you joined. He had purposely avoided you when you arrived, and to be completely honest, you were terrified of him. He never spoke to you, never commanded you on what to do, never even looked at you. You got your commands from the other members, guiding you on what they needed from you. Around a week or so into your new job, you were starting to become curious of the leader. He was the leader, and yet he didn't go out of his way for much of anything. You wanted to talk to him. It was a day of silence, everyone just hanging out and doing whatever they do in their free time. Shigaraki was sitting at the bar, mind elsewhere. You sat on the stool 2 down from him. You were still new, still uncomfortable around everyone, so you sat in silence. You turned to face him. Do you realize that you do that? Silently, he turned to face you too. You felt your stomach drop and your heart start to beat faster. He had his mask on, covering his face and hiding him from you. Do you realize that you scratch your neck? You reiterated. Your eyes chased his, hoping to catch a glimpse of whoever was under the hand. I do realize that I do that. Thank you very much for pointing that out. I didn't mean to offend you. I'm sorry. You immediately put your hands up in surrender. You moved to sit at the seat beside him. He froze, watching your every move carefully. You just apologized to him for asking a question. You do it a lot. Scratch at your neck, pick at your skin. I was just curious if it was a habit or if you did it on purpose. Silence. Your thigh was incredibly close to his. He reached for his neck again. Can I? You leaned forward, words drifting in your attempt to pull his hand away. The second your hand touched his hand, right where it laid against his neck, Shigaraki snatched your wrist with 4 of his fingers. Your entire body seized, paralyzed with fear. Don't. I'm not going to hurt you. Your eyes searched behind the hand, wrist limp against his grip. You feigned confidence. I'm aware. You've never had anyone touch your neck, have you? You tried. Your heart raced. That was the longest conversation with the leader you've ever had, and you didn't know how much longer he would let it last. You do know that I'm literally 1 finger away from turning you to dust. I know. You sent him a smile. a smile of all things. But do you know that you haven't scratched your neck since you've been holding my hand? Shigaraki immediately dropped your hand. You giggled as it landed in your lap. I wasn't holding your hand. You most definitely weren't, you agreed, still smiling. You turned around after a hug from Dobby, one in which you pulled him down and wrapped your arms around his shoulders, and one that made Shigaraki's eye twitch. He stayed seated when he caught your eye. You gave him a smile before heading in his direction. It's my last day, you know, you said as if it wasn't obvious. Shigaraki stayed stoic, rolling his eyes. It's your last chance to take me up on my offer. The answer is still no. You shrugged. Figured I'd try. You pulled yourself onto the bar stool next to him, the warmth of your body next to his automatically sending a chill down Shigaraki's spine. You didn't reach to touch him, place a hand somewhere on his body, or place your head on his shoulder. He turned to look at you, suddenly confused. Although he would never admit it, your touch had become a routine to him. Why were you trying now to avoid it? You smiled at him, but it didn't reach your eyes. He noticed. He may be emotionally constipated, but he was one to be very aware of the people around him, you specifically. I know you don't really like it when I touch you, you told him, the same fake smile plastered on your face. He wanted it to go away. I figured I want your last memories of me to be something good, so I'll just make this short. Shiggy, I'll take you up on your offer, he interrupted. You stopped, eyes flickering to his unmasked ones. You were shocked. Wait, really? Yes. There was something about the night sky that always fascinated you. You spent hours upon hours staring up at it on the balcony, blinking as the stars did. Tomura Shigaraki had caught you like that several times. What the fuck are you doing? He asked you from the door. It was like the 7th time he had found you like that. I like to watch the night sky, you replied. You weren't even surprised that he was there. You should join me sometime. Don't get your hopes up. You asked him several times since to join you on the balcony and stargaze. He turned you down every time. How about on my very last day you join me, you offered one night, and he denied you again. No. You had fallen in love with the independent, individualistic leader. You were fully aware that it didn't make any sense, nor was it necessarily healthy, but you did. It took about half of a year, half of your time with the League, for you to find yourself completely infatuated with him. You think that it was the first time that you viewed the entirety of his face. He had returned from a mission, and you were the first to report to him. There was blood dripping from under his hand mask, father if you remembered correctly, and your hand immediately reached to investigate. You're bleeding, you said. I'm fine. He moved past you, heading for his bedroom. You caught the door, following him in. Let me help. It's my job. Defeated, he sighed. He took father off, setting him on his desk, and sat on the edge of his bed. The second Shigaraki took off the mask, you were kneeling in front of him to take a look at the gash across his cheek and blood dripping down from his nose. As you scanned his face, your hand found his chin. He watched you more intently than you ever witnessed. It was personal, intimate. You allowed yourself to look over the entirety of his face, the scars and scratches, the bags under his eyes, his chapped lips, and he was gorgeous. I'm gonna go get first aid. You stay here. The night sky looked different the night you left. As you gazed up, Tomura Shigaraki standing beside you, you realized that it really was goodbye. Maybe if the two of you had met in a different lifetime or in a different way, Maybe if he understood emotions or was treated differently as he grew up. Maybe if there were no such thing as quirks or heroes or villains. So many maybes, not enough time. You stood there in silence for a long while, taking in the full moon and twinkling stars. You looked at Tomura, someone you had come to enjoy the company of, and watched as the lights reflected off of him. He was gorgeous to you. He stared up at the stupid stars you liked so much, searching for answers. You had offered for him to join you multiple times, but he never got it. "This is stupid," he said. You chuckled, returning your eyes to the sky. "The night sky reminds me of you." That caught his attention. "How does a bunch of little specks in a big-ass moon remind me of you?" You can't think of it literally. You were about to smile again, but stopped yourself. There's so much darkness, you know? It's full of black holes and emptiness, yet the moon and stars shine just as bright as ever, like you. He still didn't get it. You inhaled, letting the cool air hit your lungs. "I love you," you spoke, unprompted and in one breath. "And I know that it's unconventional, I just thought that I should let you know." Shigaraki doesn't reply. How could he when he didn't know what that was like? Was that what it was? That feeling in his stomach and pressure in his chest when his mind was full of you? He didn't think so. "You don't." "I do." You stopped him, your eyes focused on the stars, while his were focused on you. You chuckled to yourself. You finally turned to him again, reaching your hands for his wrist like you usually do. He had to remind himself to breathe. "I guess this is goodbye, huh?" You rubbed your thumb along his knuckle. "Guess so." He watched you leave, feeling the ghost of your touch on his wrists. Alright, so that's the end of this one. I hope you enjoyed. Music link, fanfic link, Discord link, and thumbnail art link will all be in the description. I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, whatever, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye!